This is the Location Files, Episode 15, Monte Cristo Homestead. There is a town in the New South Wales riverina called Junee. It sits on a plain surrounded by wheat fields, railway lines, and the particular flatness of inland Australia. Population just over 6,000, a heritage-listed railway roundhouse, and on a hill above the town, visible from the main street, a Victorian homestead with a dark reputation that has been building for over a century. Monte Cristo Homestead. Christopher William Crawley built the house in 1885. He was a pastoralist, a successful one, with the land holdings, the servants, and the social standing that went with it. The homestead was an expression of that success. 2 stories, ornate iron lace verandas, polished floors, the kind of house that announced you had arrived and intended to stay. Crawley died in 1910. He had been in declining health for some years. His death was not unexpected. What followed was, his widow, Elizabeth Crawley, did not leave the house after his death. Not for a walk, not for church, not for groceries. She emerged from Monte Cristo twice in 23 years. Once for a medical appointment, and once, according to local accounts, for some business that required her physical presence in town. For the rest of those 2 decades, she lived inside the house. She ran it, she managed its affairs, she received visitors, but she did not leave. She died inside Monte Cristo in 1933. Accounts vary on whether Mrs. Crawley was genuinely agoraphobic, deeply grieving, or simply eccentric by the standards of her time. What is less in dispute is that the household she presided over during those years accumulated a series of tragedies at a rate that would be statistically remarkable even if none of them were connected. A caretaker's child fell from a balcony and died. The fall may have been an accident. There is no record that suggests otherwise, but it happened. A stable boy was burned in the barn under circumstances that were never fully explained. The fire killed him. Contemporary accounts describe Mrs. Crawley's reaction as cold, though cold grief and cold temperament can look identical from the outside. A servant girl fell down the stairs. Some accounts say she was pushed. No prosecution resulted. The girl died from her injuries. And then there was Harold. Harold was a young man, some accounts say mentally disabled, others describe him as simply isolated, who had been living in a cottage on the property. When investigators found him at some point in the early 20th century, he had been chained in that cottage alone for a period that multiple accounts describe as decades. He could not speak coherently. He could barely walk. He was alive. Harold is the detail that this episode does not soften. A human being was held in a chain on a piece of land that is now advertised as a haunted attraction. His experience does not require a ghost to be horrifying. The house was abandoned in 1948 when the last tenants left. It sat empty and deteriorating for 15 years. Local children dared each other to approach it. Vandals broke windows. The iron lace fell. The gardens went to seed. In 1963, Reg and Olive Ryan purchased Monte Cristo and moved in. They spent years restoring it, and they reported consistently, throughout their time there, experiences they could not explain. Cold spots in specific rooms, a presence in the main bedroom. Objects moved, the sensation of being watched, especially on the upper floor, in the vicinity of the nursery and the balcony from which the caretaker's child had fallen. Monte Cristo now operates as a heritage tourist attraction. It has been featured in Australian paranormal investigation programs repeatedly. It holds the informal title of Australia's most haunted house. But here is what the title obscures. The things that happened at Monte Cristo that are documented, the deaths, the fire, the servant girl, Harold in the cottage, those do not require the supernatural to be deeply disturbing. The paranormal layer sits on top of a foundation of real documented human suffering that the homestead generated across several decades under the Crawley family and its management. When Reg and Olive Ryan moved in and felt something watching, what were they actually sensing? The residue of grief? The weight of knowledge about what had happened in those rooms? Or something else entirely? We do not know. This is a house that earned its reputation before anyone had a camera. Unexplained does not mean proven. It means unfinished. And this file is still open,